Hey, this is Joel Farabee, and you're listening to Nasty Knuckles.
You're listening to Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Settlemyre and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer Riley Cote, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back. What is happening, Nasty?
What's up, Brigaways?
This is it.
This is it. No men's league last week.
No.
Couldn't talk about it.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl Sunday. What'd you think of Snoop Loop and Dr. Dre?
One of my favorite Super Bowl performances of all time. Well, grew up listening to those guys. Specifically Snoop, Dr. Dre, and Eminem.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen Eminem have a little bit more time.
I agree with that. Yeah, he was one of my favorites.
That's just me.
But nice to see the hip-hop community being represented.
Yeah, and you know what, man? There weren't a lot of people sitting down. Like, you could see the people dancing when they would go to, like, the shots of the stands, and I thought it was good.
I thought so. I mean, they're playing the hits, right? I mean, everyone knows at least 80% of those tunes they played.
I was proud of Snoop for not slipping because, some of the words, some of the F-bombs.
Right? Yeah, and
he
Dr.
did a
Dre,
great
right?
job.
I mean,
yeah, man.
There's a lot of F-bombs in those songs.
And they found a way through that, which was impressive. But, I loved it.
Yeah, Me too. One of the best performances. Well, say performances. It was the best, for me, just like growing up listening to them. I thought it was like in my wheelhouse, anyways.
My favorite, don't laugh at me, was Prince because I'm a big Prince guy. I loved
you gotta appreciate
his
that.
one. I thought his was awesome. It rained. It was like the only time it's rained at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was my second favorite for sure.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on right now, bud?
The Flyers are still losing games. Which is not overly much of a shock at this point. More injuries added to the list. Right, you got Risto now on the IR. I mean, 7 days, maybe just moving around some money and getting him fresh for next week. But we haven't talked about Danny B.
Yep, congratulations to the little guy.
I know it's a few days old now, but it was a day after our last episode. And, obviously, we know Danny really well, and we talked about potentially being the general manager of the Flyers, and obviously this is just kind of, laying out the red carpet for somewhere down the road that he will eventually be that. But special assistant, quite the name, quite the term.
Never heard of that, but I guess when you already have two assistants, maybe you just try to find something
special
different.
Assistant,
right? He's special, but he's a great guy, and he loves the game, and he works hard at everything he does, really. But I know he's worked really hard building the Maine team up there in Portland, Maine, and he takes it seriously.
100%.
He's just one of the. He was the same way when he played. Yeah. Puts everything in 110%, and best of luck. And I think in the end he will probably move up, whether that's Chuck giving him that job and Chuck remains president, however it works out. But I think at the very soon you might see, hopefully the little guy.
It's
GM.
Exactly. It's inevitable, and it's not like he just all of a sudden became a special assistant. He's been grinding for some time quietly. Like, how many years was he just following Homer around?
Yeah, of course.
With Comcast and the back office stuff, and just the business of hockey, and then. I guess it's been 3 years now that the Maine Mariners have been in existence, and he's been running that show and doing some stuff with player development too, I believe. So obviously a great hockey mind, but he's been grinding, man.
He has. He's paid his dues.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
In this second career, some guys get bumped into coaching jobs right away, even before they've coached. But and that can work, obviously, because some people know the game. You went right into coaching, but you knew the game. But he's paid his dues, like you said, and it's nice to see, them kind of give him something to keep him around, so you don't lose him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't get the Montreal job. I actually thought he was going to get it.
I thought maybe there was a good possibility.
But there's going to be other jobs opening, and if you don't, you
gotta dangle that carrot,
you
drag him in, and
try and keep him because a lot of people. I hear a lot of people saying, "Get away from old Flyers." I'm like, why? like he's a guy that's paid his dues. He works extremely hard. He knows the game. Like he's a great guy to like have here and
well
eventually
respected.
take over. Yeah,
I mean, doesn't just understand the game. Like he's worked so hard on the back end, learning the business side of things. I understand all general managers have to know that, but
right.
outside of being a Class A guy, Class A player, I mean, why the hell wouldn't you want him?
Yeah.
He's represented Philly well on the ice, off the ice. He's professional. I get it. You can't keep hiring Flyers alumni for every role.
Right.
You got to get away from that a little bit. And I think the Flyers have done that.
Yeah.
They've gotten away from, everybody in the organization being Flyers guys. But, he's just special individuals, whether he played for Buffalo or wherever else. I mean, he's definitely a Flyers guy and, again, paid his dues.
Mr. Playoffs.
That's right.
God, he could score,
Performer.
boy. And he was playing. He's a smaller guy that was playing in a tough.
Right.
The era.
Still a tough
oh,
era.
yeah, man. It was for him to score the goals he scored, and you talk about this week's guest Joel Farabee like getting into greasy areas. Danny B got in the greasy areas and scored the goals, and he was, man.
Yeah.
He was not easy to play against. He wasn't the biggest guy, obviously, but he never made it easy for anybody
I agree.
that he was going up against. So, again, congratulations to the little guy, Danny B., Claude Giroux.
Yeah.
How much longer do we have here?
I don't know. It was an interesting press conference today, right? I mean, I'm not even sure why the hell they even had one to begin with. From what I saw, it was, I don't know if it was keeping the flies away and getting him to stop asking questions about what G's fate is, but he comes out and says that he's never had a conversation with Chuck. He's just focused on the Flyers, which I appreciate. I mean, he's a Flyer.
Yeah.
I always seen him as a Flyer for life, but interesting times for him. He calls his own fate. If he wants to move, he wants to move. He's going to move. But it sounds like right now, according to him today, that we're just here in the moment playing for the Flyers, which I respect. But something tells me that like he's going to get moved.
Yeah.
He's going to choose to get moved, not just randomly, obviously. But I don't know. That's just me. What do you think?
Yeah, selfishly, I would like to, if he's going to get moved, which I do think he will be moved, I would like to see him at least get his 1,000th game here.
Yeah.
I know that's easier said than done because, God forbid, you have a deal lined up, you let him get it if he got hurt,
Right.
Hopefully, obviously, I hate even saying that, but it is something.
It's a possibility.
If you're
you have to think about it.
You have to think about that.
Sure.
I mean, if you have a deal lined up, I would like to see selfishly him get that 1,000th game here.
I agree with that, 100%.
He's gonna be missed, buddy.
Yeah.
People.
Hard to replace those types of guys.
It really is.
Growing up in the culture of the Flyers, being a captain for so long, and
he's
just
a special player that people just for some reason don't give him the. Some do.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do.
But
a lot of people
some
don't.
do not give him the credit he deserves, and anyway, he'll be missed if he does go. Hey,
sure.
maybe there's something we don't know, or maybe he ends up staying, which would be great. But we'll see.
We will see.
Also, quick congratulations to Peter Laviolette.
Oh yeah,
Big win last night, and he got it against one of his former teams,
That's
Nashville.
Right. And Nasty. Last week we talked about the great one and his brother.
Yes.
Being a brother combination of having the most points, but we do need to clarify because we did have one of our fans reach out respectfully to correct us.
Yes, I actually meant two brothers, not meaning the Sutters, which had 6.
Right.
But he was right. He was totally right. I actually did know that stat, but I didn't want to confuse Frank. You guys got to know.
Two-brother combo.
Yeah, the combo. So that's my mistake, and thank you. He was very respectful in saying that, but that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I meant Brent and Wayne.
100%, right?
But it's still amazing.
Brent's 4 points contributing to that total, right?
Oh, it's hilarious. But
just wanted to address that.
Yeah.
We try to pretend we know it all.
Yes.
We don't.
Nope.
We do make mistakes.
Not much.
But appreciate you pointing that out, and we were honest with correcting that.
Yes.
And Nast, it is time for episode 62.
Let's do it.
Presented to you by Cureleaf, medical marijuana dispensary, 14 locations in Pennsylvania. Recently opened the Wayne location. Awesome crew, very knowledgeable staff. Check them out, cureleaf.com.
Is that the sizzle? What the fuck was that?
Episode
Sorry,
60.
further,
Bartaloo.
yeah, that's a good thing.
Episode 62. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, welcome back. I'm Riley Cote.
And I'm Derek Settlemyre, and this week we are very fortunate to have our good buddy, first round draft pick from the Philadelphia Flyers, 2018, Mr. Joel Farabee, young Beezer in the cut, as Hazy calls you. What's up, brother?
What's up? Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, God, thank you for coming in, man. What's going on?
Not much, man. Last couple weeks just trying to rehab here and hopefully getting pretty close here. So hopefully get back in the lineup soon. But but not much going on. Just focus on the lift, getting the legs back, and trying to get back into shape right now.
Nice. Yeah, there's nothing fun about being injured, hey?
No.
It's like the psychology of it all.
Yeah, honestly, I wish with my type of injury that I could just play through it. Because how much I hate just not being around the boys, like
That sucks, man.
not going through game day, like it kind of sucks with our setup here because we have our practice rink in Jersey. So on game days, I don't even really see the boys, so that's kind of tough. But hopefully not too much longer here.
Good.
You do what you can. So just fortunate to be around. But like I said, hopefully be back pretty soon.
Yeah, it just I mean, we can talk about it, but it's just been a shit show of a year for everyone. I mean, here in Philly, with the team and decimated with injuries, man. I mean, like you just look at you, Hazy, Coots.
Go down the list.
I mean, just go down the list. It just sucks, man. It screws the year up. But you're right, man. We've talked about this before with injuries, man. When you're the injured guy, like a lot of times when I was still with the team, injured guys came in early, so you might catch guys coming in, but you're leaving, and you're like, you almost feel like you're not a part of the team, which I think is crazy.
Yeah,
but
is that still the case?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're in early. Like on practice days, I'm usually finished with my skate before the team skates.
Yeah.
At least today that was the case. Obviously each day is probably a little bit different, but yeah, it does kind of suck. You come in and the good thing, I guess if it's not really a good thing, but to have as many guys hurt. I think just having Hazy with me, going through injury and stuff like that. Guys like that really help. I think if I was the only guy hurt, it'd be tough mentally for sure.
Oh God,
having some guys to to go through it with it is definitely a huge help. But yeah, I mean obviously you don't want to miss games, and what you signed up for is to play. So it does suck when you're out of the lineup, but the best thing to do is just try to be a good teammate, support the guys that are playing, and just do what you can.
Yeah. Might there be a silver lining in this? I mean, obviously no one wants to get hurt. Is there anything that you might be able to take away from the injury itself? Whether it's learning about yourself, dealing with adversity, and then maybe finding a way to come back stronger?
Yeah, I think for me, not that it's a good thing, but like in an 82 game season, to get some time off to rest the legs, I think definitely helps. I wish I could play every game, but when you do get the chance to rest the body, it does. You do feel a lot better coming back, at least for me. And I think also just being away from the rink, as much as I have, 21 years old right now, so it's nice to kind of learn, living on your own. I think with the COVID season, it honestly felt like college. You're with the guys. So really, this is my first year where I'm kind of just living on my own and doing everything on my own. So I think that was great. I've learned a lot about trying to find hobbies, stuff to do away from the rink. So that's been great. Hanging out with some young guys that maybe are hurt too. Tyson Forrester's been around, so I've been hanging out with him a lot.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean it's great. You get to connect with the young guys that are around and do stuff like that. So I think that's a huge help. For me, I hate just being alone or going home and doing nothing all day. Like I love just being around the guys, and definitely obviously it helps a lot.
Yeah, for sure it does.
Absolutely. And going back earlier in your career, I understand that your father's from Philly. You had a connection to Philly. You actually enjoy watching the Flyers growing up and all that good stuff. So to be drafted by the Flyers and play in the organization obviously must be some sort of a dream come true.
Yeah, absolutely. So my dad's from Warminster, PA.
Okay.
It's not too far.
Yeah.
His mom, my grandma, she still lives there.
Nice.
Oh,
Which
cool.
is really great. Yeah, she gets to watch the games. But you should have seen my dad on draft day. It was so funny. Like my dad he doesn't drink much. He kind of, he's pretty quiet. But on draft day, like once I got drafted, he just
he was in one.
Yeah, it was so funny, man. Like he was jumping all around.
That's
and, like,
so awesome.
Before the draft too, like kind of in my head, I was like, yeah, like 14 to Philly. I think that's kind of where I'm gonna go. Like honestly, I really like their interviews, everything like that. And my dad's like, like that would be so sick. Like
yeah.
And then for it to actually happen,
Yeah,
was another thing. But no, so great. Just to share that with my family. I think I grew up watching Flyers. Obviously my dad, he's a diehard Philly fan. Everything. So. It couldn't have worked out any better.
Yeah, that was I remember when they came too as well to a game, but I saw some video of them watching the game, and your poor mom looked like she was gonna have a fit, man. I think she was worried about you.
More worried about your
excited.
father?
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, see, my mom is like. My mom is so protective. Like she doesn't want anything to happen to me out there. And then like my dad and my brothers are like, "When are you gonna fight somebody? When are you gonna do something out there?" So it was kind of a funny the balance that came with it.
Well, it's funny you say that because what was your dad and your brother saying when you grabbed Foligno when we were in Mini? I was still with the team, and I remember you went in to take up for a teammate that had gotten hit
Right in front of the bench, right?
Matt Niskanen.
Yeah, that's right. And I just remember I had known you a little bit anyway, and everyone loved the way you play the game, which is obvious because you've played 107 games and got a 6-year deal. Congratulations, by the way, which is amazing. We were trying to figure out, is that a record, like for a guy to only play so many games and get a great deal, which you deserve. But I just remember you going after Foligno, who's a big man. He's a big guy, and I just thought, Jesus, just protect yourself for one, just because he's so big. But I just thought the balls on this guy,
100%.
And that's what leaders do. And I know you're young, you're getting into your third year, but we talked about this as well. Like, definitely see you as a leader, especially in the next few
100%.
years. And you probably, do you think of yourself that way now? Maybe.
I think right now I just try and do like the lead by example things. Obviously, we have some great leaders, Coots, G, Hazy, you can go down the list, Cam. But I think just my first year to have Jake, G, Niskanen, those guys to really learn from them and like see the work that they put in. It opened my eyes to what actually being a leader is. Like, you come up and everyone's like, oh, you got to be a leader. But like, what does that really mean? Like, but, just doing the little things, being able to speak up when the time's right. I think G does that great. He's not barking the whole time. He knows when to pick his spots and when to get on guys, which is great. But back to the Foligno thing, that week was really funny for me. So I fought my first fight was against Peugeot in Ottawa a few days before.
Yeah.
And then I fought Foligno, and then we went to Winnipeg, and I got a 3-game suspension. So, all in 1 week.
Right.
Yeah, so
get some street credit, man. Get some street credit.
Is that all right, Dad? Hey, guys, is that cool?
Yeah. But the Foligno fight was actually that was one of my coolest first NHL moments. I don't know what game that was for me, but it was early, and it happens. I kind of obviously I knew who Foligno was. I know he's really tough, but just in the game, it just happened, whatever. I grabbed him, and he kind of let up, which was really good. I fell down to my knee, and he stopped punching me. But the coolest thing after was so the period ended, and then we came out and got back in the box after, and he yelled down to me, and he was like, "Hey, like, you good, brother?" And I'm like, yeah, thanks for, thanks for letting up. And he's like, no worries, man. He's like, I love that. I respect the hell out of that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's
that's
really
awesome.
neat.
Because I think for me, like, playing against the best players in the league is awesome. Like playing against Ovechkin's, Sid and all those guys is really cool. But for me, like, what I really enjoy about the game is like the heavyweights. Like, I love playing the guys that are super tough. Like Sam Morin that we had. He, like, just the way those guys like go into the game and like the game they play, it's so hard. Yeah. And like they really don't get enough credit, to be honest with you. But,
I agree.
I really like, not that I'm a good fighter by any means, but like I love the art of fighting. Like I think it's such an important part of the game. And for me, just a heavyweight in the league to say that to me was like, such a cool moment for me.
That is actually awesome. But Beezer, you're so young, you may not remember Riggs, but he's
probably not. He's probably still in his diapers when I was slugging it out.
He used to sharpen up the Knucks a lot. You would have enjoyed him. I remember Riles, you telling me the one summer, like, I gotta like not get so wild and like stay in these, like, because he's doing all his training to fight, right? He had these cops. You had those cops coming from Camden,
cops,
and I'm like. And he weighed at the time 220. Now he's a toothpick. Now this guy, he's like a bird now, Beezer. But he was 220. But these monsters are coming in from Camden Police,
right?
And he's like, "Oh, we're just like sparring." And I go up there one time. He's leaving with black, and they're punching each. They're fighting.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. But anyway, that is awesome that Marcus did that, because that like I said on the bench, everybody's like, "Fuck," you just up. Clapping, tapping your stick. I mean, it is a very important part of the game, I think.
I remember after the game, I forget where we were going. I think we were on our way to Winnipeg, but I was getting on the plane, and Chuck walked by me, and he's like, let's not do that again. It was just kind of subtle, like, don't do that again.
Do that again.
Yeah, it's not like you were looking for it, right?
No.
I mean, it's not like you went to ask them to square off in the middle of the ice.
No.
I mean, I think if I remember the fight correctly, he slew-footed someone right in front of the bench, right?
So,
and you were right there. And
yeah, it was just like a breakout kind of, and then the puck got tied up at our blue line, or I can't remember, but he kind of slew-footed Niskanen, and he was like our oldest guy at the time. So I was like, that was the first guy. So I kind of remember cross-checking him. Yeah. And then he snapped his head, and he's like, "Let's go!" Like, he didn't even know who it was, and I was just like, "All right, auto shed." But,
oh man.
Yeah, not my best, but
hey,
I'm glad I did.
That's where, as a general manager, you'd think that you'd pat the guy on the back and be like, "Well, awesome job showing up."
Yeah.
Right. I mean, not that you went out there and again challenged Foligno off the face-off for no goddamn reason, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
But building off that fight, I mean, I think you had like 5 total NHL fights, and like you play a greasy game, or you're hard around the net and you stick up for yourself. And the one fight I did want to ask you about was Mark Friedman. Did he just get picked up on waivers when you not too far before you'd fought him?
Yeah. He got picked off waivers maybe like a couple weeks, a month before that. And that was at the time in COVID where you're playing back-to-backs against the same team.
Right.
And I remember, so he caught me with a clean hit.
Yeah.
I went down, and then Jakey came and cross-checked him. Like in my defense, and I was like, no, like I didn't want to be like, Jakey's gonna go fight Freeds. Like I was like, no, I'll take him. And like me and Freeds have a great relationship, so it wasn't like I wanted to kill him or anything. It was just kind of, if it's gonna be me or Jake, it's gonna be me. So that's kind of how that happened. But I really, like I said, I really just enjoy the art of fighting. I don't think there's many guys my size in the NHL. Like I'm pretty small guy, pretty light, so. I usually have to go up a class or two if I fight again. I love it. I think when other guys fight, like we have McEwen, he's so tough, man.
He is tough.
And it really just brings so much energy to the bench.
It really does.
It can really change a game. So, it's such a crucial part of the game.
Yeah, I always say to people, everyone was sitting in their seats when it doesn't matter who's fighting.
Yeah, right.
Like everyone's up. It's just,
it's the best.
Like you said, it gives your team a lift, man. And you see guys do it when you get down a few goals or a big hit, but it does always get you going, man.
Yeah. It's actually awesome to hear a young 21-year-old actually have this perspective, because I feel like they've tried so hard to get fighting out of the game, especially in the junior levels, putting like the cap on fighting majors and all this stuff. I feel like the younger generation doesn't really appreciate the element of self-policing and accountability, where to hear you talk like that is refreshing, but you grew up watching the Flyers, so it's probably ingrained in your DNA,
and
right?
Having 2 older brothers, I'm sure games got a little rough around the house.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I do got to ask you, who was your favorite player growing up?
I was a huge fan of Patrick Kane. Being from upstate New York, he's from Buffalo, so I was always a huge fan of him. But Pavel Datsyuk, the amount of times I watched his YouTube highlight reel before youth hockey games, I would get so hyped to his stuff.
That's
man.
Awesome.
He was awesome. So I would say those two guys. I really enjoyed watching those guys.
Nice. How about Philadelphia Flyer?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, honestly, I watched G a lot.
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, like, he's played for a while. I was pretty young. So
You gotta remember, he was like 11.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I forget. Think about G's been in the organization 14 years.
I still think of G as a kid.
I know, right? I played with G. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but even just like the Richards, Carter, G, like all that whole era, I love that type of hockey. It was great.
Yeah, because I do see some Richie in you. You know, like
Especially
I feel like
the physical.
Yeah, just like greasing around the net there. I mean, we watched a bunch of your goals, and like you're obviously a sniper. You got an amazing shot. You can score from all areas, but like a lot of the goals were in and around the crease and finding secondary opportunities, which perimeter players wouldn't do that, obviously. So there's that element that I could see Richie. The grind, the grease. That you find different ways to score goals. So.
I got a quick question for you. So you went to BU, the Bean Pot champs.
Yeah.
Big shout out to the boys.
Yeah, right.
I actually, I was almost said drafted. I got recruited, and it was BS. But the coach at BU when I was a senior in high school actually came and talked to me. So I knew I wasn't going there. I was a D1. There was no way. But I did get recruited. I did get to talk to him. Mike Jarvis was the coach's name. But I was going to ask you, how was your experience in college? Did you enjoy that playing college hockey?
Yeah, it was great. I didn't really know what to expect. Like, you go in as a true freshman, and you're pretty young still. But being in Boston, like, Boston's such a good city. There's so much to do there.
That's true.
The only thing I wish BU had a football team. I think that would have been. That's the only thing I missed out. I feel like on college was going to like college football games and stuff like that. But no, it was great. We had I came in with a bunch of guys from the U.S. program, so that definitely helped. But we actually we had a really good team. I think we have Jake Ottinger's playing in Dallas, Dante Fabro's in Nashville. We got some really good players. So it was a great year for me, and I think just for me, I was coming out of the U.S. program, I was probably like maybe 170 pounds.
Yeah.
So to be able to just work out 5 days a week, and then do all that stuff definitely helped my development a ton. I think if I went major junior, I don't think I would have got the time in the weight room that I probably would have needed.
Right.
So I loved it. I love college hockey. The games are so cool. Like, you go to an NHL game or even like a major junior game, it's like just fans of hockey. But like college hockey, like it's just the pride in the school,
right?
Yeah,
with the band. It adds a different element.
Sure,
it was so cool.
That's awesome.
I remember the one game I've ever been like nervous for was the first Beanpot game I played in.
Really?
Because I've played in big games, U18 World Championships, stuff like that, but when you sell out the Garden, like, and never being in an NHL building, you're like looking around, the band's playing, the student section. I remember because in college they do the starting lineups, everyone's on the goal line. I remember Jack DeBoer was next to me. We were kind of looking at each other like, holy shit, like, this is it. Like, this is sick.
Yeah.
So I remember being a little nervous for that, but no, college was great. It was a great experience for me. I feel like I got what I needed out of it, and it really helped me, lead myself into pro.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing college, and a year, 2 years later, 2 seasons later, you lead the Flyers, in goals. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
It is amazing.
I mean, and you're still a baby, which is great, and you got a deal. Well, you know what I mean. You're still young, and in your 3rd season, so hopefully we get you back healthy.
Yeah, right.
And able to play some games here, but. I was gonna ask you also, like, what's your favorite building? So, like, have you played in every building yet? Because COVID, I forgot about that. You got screwed up last year.
I want to say Nashville's the only one I haven't played in.
Well, you will. We'll be there, by the way.
We'll
be there, and you'll be back.
Fans affiliate.
Yeah, if I'm thinking correctly, I'm pretty sure Nashville's the only one. But favorite building to play in? Ooh. Honestly, I think Chicago for me.
Oh yeah.
I played there like my 6th NHL game, and it was like electric in there.
Yeah.
Like, warm-ups is awesome. I put Vegas a close second.
Yeah.
Vegas is really cool. But Chicago, like, you really feel like just the hockey pride, and like they love the Blackhawks there, and it obviously they're having similar year to us, but playing there, even just playing against Taze and Kane, I think was just an awesome experience.
Kaner, it's not. I was gonna say, like, I saw something you had. I saw an interview you did before, and you were talking about, like, someone asked you about your hockey moment, like you said, like playing against them, but Kaner must have been Like, were you watching him in warm? I mean, I know I was there. Right. I was there with you, but like, it's hard not to watch Kane. Or,
I know, right? Stick out and just move around. Yeah,
and even just like you watch him, you see his YouTube and stuff, but like playing against him on the ice, you're like, you really realize how good he is.
Oh man,
how much space he creates for himself. You're like, it's honestly,
it is crazy watching him. Like he's one of the few guys that can come into the zone, not even at full speed probably, but come into the zone because guys are afraid to go out, right? Like, he will burn you. Like he's an amazing player. I when we did the Olympics, he was on the team back in 2010 and even at the World Cup. So being around him for like 2 to 3 weeks and watching him practice every day, it's just amazing, man. The just his mind for one, but the skill he has is obviously ridiculous.
100%.
I mean, it's crazy.
I was going to ask you, like, building off all that, you're a skill guy. Obviously, your idols are, Patrick Kane and Datsuk, extremely skilled players. I coached for the Phantom 7 years, and I was on that side of the fence and understanding like structure within the team setting. Creating, say boundaries, if you will. But then also understanding like some of these structures actually limit skill guys, and just recently Martin St. Louis takes over as head coach, and hearing that, did you hear that interview? And you're talking about that, and it just resonated with me. Like, not that obviously I was never a skill guy, but just like when you start creating too much structure, rigid structure around the game, how you're actually lessening the potential of some of these extremely creative players. You played in the U.S. national program, then BU, and then briefly with the Phantoms there, and then you had a couple coaches with the Flyers. I mean, have you had any experience where you noticed the coach's philosophy actually worked against your creativity and your skill?
Ooh. I mean, I feel like for me, I've been fortunate enough. Like at the U.S. program, they really want guys to make plays and stuff like that. So. And even in college, I feel like I had a pretty long leash. So honestly, I mean, I think with AV, like he had his structure, and it was, you knew what it was. But I also think, and even with Mike Yeo, I think the structure's there, and he really lets guys play, which you really have to do it now. I feel like in the NHL, if you really restrict guys, like I think like young guys, even I think it hurts the young guys the most.
For sure.
Like obviously you want your top players making plays, but when a young guy comes up and feels very limited, I feel like it's tough, because I think the biggest thing is confidence. Like it's a loose word that's thrown around, but like when you're playing with confidence, it changes everything. And I feel like when young guys come in and they struggle right off the bat, it can kind of hurt them. It might take them a few years. Where when a coach lets guys play, I feel like they really show who they are, and you can see what they can do.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I think like the old school coaches notoriously are harder on the young guys, and rightfully so. You're trying to develop them and help them create that structure, but then there's a fine line of like being too aggressive with that structure where. Again, the confidence thing. Generally, the confidence thing comes from the confidence of the coach, right? I mean, it's like the coach sees confidence 100%. In you, and it's a two-way street. I get, but like going back to what Martin St. Louis says, there is like I'd rather see the guy try to make a play and make a mistake, or make the wrong play than being hesitant or non-instinctive and then making the mistake the other way. You know what I mean? Based on not being instinctive. So I thought, I mean, again, it's kind of resonated with me since I worked with some coaches that were really rigid with their philosophy, where they didn't want to allow certain players to make plays. I think even the young guys, like, you got to teach them, but like let them be, because I think you're talking about limiting potential. That's tough. That's tough on the player.
I mean, there's no perfect way to do it.
No.
But I think like you said, having trust in young guys, I think changes, and I feel like the NHL has kind of shifted maybe from when you were playing
100%
and stuff like that, where I think the coaches they're still hard on young guys for sure. Like that's not what I'm saying, but letting guys play, letting them you watch them in junior or whatever college, and you see that they can make plays. Just I feel like let them
right. Yeah, 100%.
It seems like this younger generation, like including you, are obviously there's always skilled guys coming up playing NHL, but like. You started playing when you're 19, and there are younger guys now, but like you made an impact
right coming
away.
In the league and being an impact player.
You really did, and it seems like the younger kids that are coming in are really skilled, and like, are you gonna tell Zegert, like, you just gotta let it be creative, like a kid like that, and they are, and Dallas Eakins is. I'm just saying, but there could be some coaches that are like, you don't need to do, you know, and you're taking away from what they're good at and what they can help your team with.
Yeah, and that's why I think like the newer school coaches or the younger coaches communicate better. Right. So it's more of a conversation to maybe just be a little more careful making a high risk play at that area of the game. But I think most of these younger coaches, new age coaches, are evolving the way the game is evolving, which is high skill, right? I mean,
exactly.
It's no longer Broad Street bullies. It's no longer like this.
Yeah, everyone can make plays.
Everyone can make plays, and the skill level every year seems to be improving. I mean, it's scary. It's actually scary how much more skilled guys can be, but seem to be. See guys like Zegers is a perfect example. Like the All-Star game, we talked about this last week. Like when Mario and Gretzky are in All-Star games back in the day.
I said they didn't have skills competition.
Yeah, I know. But like, were they trying to do stuff like that? Even like blind, it's like there's just like it's just a different world, right? Of skill.
Yeah.
Michael Raffle would always say, he'd be like, he'd always be like, Beezer, when you're done playing, it's gonna be 5 forwards. There's gonna be no D. It's gonna be 5 forwards.
Yeah, right.
It's
true where it's going. Yeah, it's high offense, high skill. And that being said, I mean, I see you as like a prolific goal scorer. I mean, for you, 20 snipes last year, which is, incredible.
Crazy. Yeah.
And you score different types of goals, as I mentioned earlier. I mean, like, what are you like working on to keep finding the net? I mean, is it more shooting? Is it is it crashing the net more? Like, what is it exactly?
Yeah, I think for me, like I feel like my shot can get harder. Like I feel like I still need to build a lot more strength. I'm a pretty skinny guy, so but even just like I feel like doing so much video helps me. Like I really try and figure out ways or like what goalies are doing now. I feel like the goalie style is really changed, and like you see that Shesterkin in New York. He's small, but he moves so well. So I really found for me like trying to beat goalies low has really helped me. Obviously it's cool when you go bar down and stuff like that. Right. Like you see like the real good goal scorers, like it's 6 inches off the ice, post in.
Yeah, that's true.
Those are the shots that are going in. So I've really tried to just, change my thinking on, where I'm shooting and what spots to pick in certain areas. I feel like I'm always trying to look at video and trying to figure out, stuff like that, new ways to beat goalies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I know one thing I want to see last summer at Check It for Charity. Joel played on one of the teams.
Oh, yeah, right.
Me and Riles played in that tournament. Oh, we weren't in your league, though.
We were in a C league.
we were like probably a C league. But actually, Danny Briere was in ours. New assistant GM.
Champion.
Congrats again.
But
Beezer came down. I was up in the loft and watching, and he gets a breakaway. I actually had it on video. Well, I got it from the live stream, whatever that thing is. But he did the Cooch. He did the Kucherov, and I was like, oh, shit, I got to see it in the game. You got to do that in the game at some point, man. Easier said than done, right? Lotz has been good at that, going 5-hole. He's scored a lot.
The paralyzer.
Yeah, is that what you're calling it? The paralyzer.
He's the paralyzer.
I love it, man.
That's great.
He does that move. Yeah, he fakes the forehand, backhand 5-hole.
Yeah.
AP and Vigneault, the video guys, they're always like, the paralyzer.
The paralyzer.
Oh, that's so
all excited.
Yeah, Lotz, his old man would be losing it. Oh,
paralyzer.
Paralyzer.
Where did that come from? Is that a lot? Is that
AV.
A lot
Did AV? Did AP and
I think
Vin?
AP
they
and Vigneault.
did. All right.
Because I remember when I first got hurt this year.
That's great.
Like one of my first games out, he did it, and we were all in the video room going nuts. We're like, the paralyzer, like going
That's
crazy.
awesome, man.
Every time he gets a breakaway, I'm always yelling it on the bench.
You're yelling
like,
it.
Come on.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he's
man.
good at that. He's really good at that.
Oh, that's classic. I was going to ask you choice on the number 86.
Yeah, where did that come from? Too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was my first ever number I wore. I don't really remember it too much, but I remember being a little kid at my hometown rink, and I remember it was like my first year of like youth hockey. So like my first year on a team, and I remember they were like, "Hey Joel, like here's you got like 4 numbers to choose from." And I remember just being a little kid, I was like, "I want the highest one." And it was 86.
86,
okay.
And I've always just stuck with it. And
that's cool.
Yeah, I knew, kind of in the back of my head, if I ever made it to the NHL, I'd love to get it back one day. At college we were I think we were 1 to 40. We couldn't have anything
so
high.
you're 28.
Right. Same thing at the U.S. program. You didn't really get to pick your number. So, being able to switch was great. I didn't really know what that process was. I remember, I think I just talked to my agent. He asked Chuck, and I was kind of is Chuck going to say yeah? He's going to let me switch my number? And he was like, oh, yeah, go ahead. And it was so easy. And I was like, oh, that's so great. But, no, I love it. Just reminds me, I feel like it just reminds me of just being that young kid and, just loving the game of hockey. And just kind of just brings me back to that first love.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you didn't go back to that, you just tell G, hey, look, I'll take you to dinner and give me 2.8.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't touching that number, but I thought it was cool. When I was in Lehigh, I wore 28.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I really like wearing that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, speaking of Lehigh, I was going to ask you that anyways. Why don't you talk about your mentality when you made the team out of training camp, right? You went to Prague, or you were the last cut?
I was the last cut,
right.
So I got cut in Prague. Yeah, that was tough. I was with Phil Myers. We were both the last cuts. But I remember just being really just pissed off. I was because I remember, so I sat that whole week in Prague, and Lehigh played their first 2 games. So I was I had already missed the first 2 games of the year in the A, and I was just pissed, and I was I need to do something. And then my first game, I had a really nice goal.
Yeah.
And I feel I really got my confidence back. I feel my first year, I was really just trying to make the team doing anything, and then when you don't, you're kind of oh man. But I was really just excited to go down there. I actually love playing in Lehigh. The facility they have.
Yeah, it's super nice.
Fans are really passionate down there. I thought was great, and we had some great older guys down there when I was there. Cal O'Reilly, he's still there.
Yeah.
T.J. Brennan, Greg Carey,
right.
some really good older guys that were really supportive and really helped me. So I was so thankful for those guys and just being around, and I think I ended up only playing 4 games. I went down back at the deadline and played 1 more, but I love playing down there. I was so excited to go play down there. I think I definitely didn't want to have that mentality of oh, I don't deserve to be here. I should be up. I never thought that 1 second. I just really wanted to
That's important.
Yeah, it's huge.
I was really more pissed off because I felt I had so much more to prove because I didn't play well when we played the Swits team when we went over there, and
well, I'm not sure anyone played that well.
Yeah,
that game. That was a tough
one of those.
One. Yeah, it's one of those.
Right. But yeah, I felt I had so much more to prove, so that's really what I wanted to go down and just show that when I went down there.
I remember when we were there and you guys. We're basically sit down, but we were still there. I felt so bad for them because there was we win the game, and you guys were awesome. You were happy for the team and everything, but it's kind of sucks, man. They're for you and Phil, I remember just feeling bad, fuck, that's shitty. But I knew, I think I may have even said to both of you guys, you'll be back, soon, sooner than later. And for you, it was really soon. And Phil too. He came
a little
back.
cup of coffee down there.
Yeah,
I think it's important that even if you're a first rounder that you play. I think unless unless it's an obvious you're going to play on the top 2 lines right out of the gate, no questions asked. Playing a few games in the minors, maybe a month or 2. There's something to be said about that. Even G played half a year in the Phantoms.
Hexy was big on that too.
I think it's just you just learn a lot about yourself. You underestimate the American Hockey League, how good it actually is.
Yeah.
Right?
There's so many good
everyone wants to play in the NHL. I get it, but you're going up against grown men. And it's highly competitive. Everyone's fighting for a job. So it made me a little bit humbling too. Right? It's go
absolutely.
down. It's kind of recalibrate and perform, get the confidence back up.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
Yeah. I just like that philosophy again, unless it's just so obvious.
You're old school. You're old school.
I'm old school, yeah. Got some new school in me. I'm adapting to the times.
You're adapting. I will say that, except for the flow.
I haven't even got the frosty tips, dude.
I don't have any frosties.
Well, what do you got there?
I got nothing.
Covering up the grays.
I'm covering up the grays. That's what I'm doing. Hey, why you got to go after with the grays, man? Hey, I will tell you this, Rick, something you don't know about him. Me and him are like McHale and Bird together on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I said to him the one day we had
instant chemistry.
Yeah, just it was ridiculous. We played a couple times just shooting around and stuff, and there was a bunch of us goofing off. And I said that he's an American, so these Canadian guys, especially the European, those poor guys, they were playing. You know who wasn't bad was Z. Big Zamula.
Big Z.
He wasn't bad at all.
You need a rebound, he'll get you one.
Yeah, anyway.
Setting the picks up?
So I said to Beezer, because he was good, I said, damn, you're like Mikhail. You throw in a head fake, a little reverse layup. And then later on, he texts me, he goes, hey, who did you tell me I reminded you of? He doesn't even know what Kevin Mikhail is.
Because I was telling Frosty.
Yeah,
Frosty, I'm like, hey, Nasty.
Frosty.
Nasty like my game.
Frosty loves the hoops because he didn't play with us that time. But it was funny. He was like, hey, who did you say I was like? I was like, you probably don't even know who. I said Kevin McHale because, like fucking fake,
Yeah.
But he was good. He's good athlete.
Well, I think like his
Good
skill,
athlete.
like if you got like hockey IQ, I feel like you'd have like basketball IQ, right? I mean, seen it.
I love playing basketball.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Especially that summer too. Like I was here I think that was before my first year.
No, this was going to COVID.
That's what it was. Yeah. So I stuck around and was just working out, and we had a bunch of young guys. So we'd leave the rink and be like, hey, let's go play pickup. It was so much fun. Like just the cardio, like even just doing that, being outside in the summer, it was so great. I played basketball growing up like every day.
Did you really?
Did you? Yeah, you could tell you played basketball. It's it was really good for European Kimmo Timonen.
Really?
Could just stroke the.
He was just a good all-around athlete, right?
That's true. He's just a really good athlete. But yeah, we had fun doing that. We ran the table.
Did you tell Beezer about the old school b-ball games around the skate zone?
I probably mentioned to him before, but we used to play with Homer and Hexy. Homer doesn't realize there's actual rules.
Straight up prison rules,
street ball. It was called the Skate Zone Basketball League, and it was lost couple teeth and
couple tillies.
Dean Lombardi ended up with a black eye the one day, and it was ugly.
Yeah,
there were some ugly days, but it was fun, and you couldn't say no because if Homer comes down, it's like, hey, you're playing. Guys are trying to leave out the back door. Like before he gets, I'm out of here. Before he gets here, I'm like, I'm calling him because I'm not going to. Because if no one was there, he maybe play 1-on-1. In the 100 degrees in the middle of the summer, and he's got a sweatshirt on, sweating. He's like, slime time, take his sweatshirt off. I'm like, come on, man. Like, just gross. But anyway, yeah, Frosty loves the hoops, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's big Curry guy.
Oh, yeah.
He loves the hoops.
See that. I was going to ask you, we talked about G a little bit, but talk about G as a leader in just in the locker room, on the ice, because I don't think he gets enough credit. I mean, as big as his numbers are and all these accomplishments and all these records he's breaking, I don't think the average Flyer fan gives him enough credit for how good of a leader he really is.
Yeah, I mean, he's really just the best. Like, I think I was listening to your guys' episode with Carlo.
Yeah.
And he was talking that story where G was getting pissed off in practice, and it was so true when he said that. I was like, that's so true. That's how G is in practice. Like he's so intense. He hates to lose. He's honestly the biggest competitor I've ever seen. Like he just wants to win at everything. Doesn't matter if it's whatever, anything. But yeah, just like I feel like he's so good. Like I said earlier, was when to say something and when not.
Yeah.
I think that's such a big part of it. And you just see the way he plays. Like he plays so hard, especially now. I think he's 34. Like he's playing like he's 25 out there. Like
for sure, yeah.
Forechecking hard. I think so. For me, like coming up, I was really amazed by how hard he works every day. The work he does put in. And then you add in the fact he's got 2 really young kids now, and he's still doing it. So I think that's a real testament to how good of a person he is and how good of a player he is. I mean, you see the numbers and what he's done in Flyers history and stuff like that. It really couldn't have happened to a better guy. Yeah,
it's going to be it's starting to get down to crunch time here. I'm not sure what today's thing was about, but it's going to be weird not seeing Claude Giroux.
Yeah.
As a captain. I know things come to an end. I get it. But he's still a player that produces.
Oh, yeah.
Consistently.
Consistently.
I mean, it's
exactly.
Even the year he was hurt, that no one knew he was hurt so bad. He had his groins, his wrist. He still had 57 points. Balder would know the numbers better than me, but he, and it was an off year for Claude for sure.
Yeah.
But no one knew he was playing like very, very hurt, which a lot of you guys do. I've seen it 25 years in the game, but it's going to be weird not having G here. Maybe today they re-signed him. I don't think so. But, it's going to be odd. I'm glad, Beezer, you got to play with him, and you see how hard he works. We hear people, I could be at the rink, with my kid and with Elvis, and they got to get rid of. I'm like,
why?
Why?
We can replace him with
do you understand what you're doing when you get rid of okay, you're going to get rid of him because he's a free agent, and maybe he wants to go somewhere, but you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
But I do say this, and at Chuck's press conference a few weeks ago, you know, you do have to remember we have you, and we have Coots and Hazy. I mean, there's a lot there, you know, like you're an up-and-coming guy, and you've already proved your worth here, and it's just going to get better. I'm going to knock on wood, so don't jinx you, but it is still, at the end of the day, it's going to be a little odd.
Yeah, oh yeah. And outside of Gia, we talked about Hazy and Coots and some of these older guys in the team. Is there anything, like, as a young guy that really jumps out to you with some of these veteran guys? Because I remember, like, I was a young guy, like, I almost like was living in a bubble, and I wish I had paid more attention to some of the older guys and their habits. You got like JVR. I think some of these guys like really understand how to take care of their body, and you know that element of self-preservation. Is there anything that kind of jumps out to you from some of these guys? Like,
actually, just what you just said, like the whole taking care of the body thing. I think even my first year with Matt Niskanen, and you know, like we'd play a back-to-back, and you know, guys would be gassed, and Matt Niskanen and you know JVR and Coots, they're in the gym right after. Like, it's, as a young guy seeing that stuff and like the work they really put in, like that nobody sees, like after games, that like early in the morning when, you know, before guys get there. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is what I've learned is you really got to put the work in. Like, you could have all the skill in the world, if you don't want it, if you don't want to be the best player, like you're not gonna be.
So true, man.
So just being able to, you know, see that aspect of it, because, you know, coming from college, like obviously, you know, it's obviously a different season. It's not 82 games or anything like that. So just my first year being able to see guys, just how hard, you know, they're working, and like the lifts guys are doing in season, like, you know, heavy legs, stuff like that, really just wanting to be strong, wanting to be the best player they can be. It's really helped me, honestly, as not the biggest guy, to be like, okay, this is what it takes, you know.
That's what it takes, yeah.
How about like on the recovery side of things? Like, I know, like, being a young guy, you're always like expected to go on for the optionals, and you know what I mean. There's like almost a little bit of pressure for younger guys to participate in some of this. But like, how much has it shifted the mentality around like listening to your body, actually a real focus on recovery? Because I know like the older guys, eventually it's just like maintenance. It's not about like getting stronger during the season, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I still think there's still that, you know, the aspect of the young guys should go out for optionals. I think that's still true, but you know, I think, you know, you look at JVR, that guy is a wizard with how he takes care of his body. You know,
sure.
Just the, you know, he's, you know, getting guys for different things, helping them out. So really just taking the time to, like you said, listen to your body, I think is the biggest thing. You know, I think for, you know, like guy like JVR, like he, it's honestly a full day thing for him.
Yeah,
like,
it
really
is, right,
body. Like it takes so much energy and time to do what he does, and you know, for him to, you know, still perform at the highest level, I think it's really awesome.
It was funny. So when he left here and went to Toronto, he was on the 2016 World Cup team,
right,
and his bag comes in from the hotel, and I go to lift this thing, and obviously I'm $155. His bag must have weighed 125. I almost like threw my back out, and I'm like, fuck, I pick his bag up and take it over, and I unzip it, and there is shit everywhere. I mean, he's got bands, he's got drinks, he's got, I'm like, what is going on? So I was like, I can't wait to see this guy. So he comes in, I'm like, dude, high maintenance, what happened to you? I'm like, you were just so easy before. And he's like, oh man, I got these, he's showing me all his exercises. I'm like, all right, man, okay, I get it. But you're right, man, he's like, it takes so much time during the morning, like when he comes in and he does all his bands, and we talk to him about it too, but man, I mean, it's and you've brought this up too, like the flexibility aspect of the game now, and being flexible and not
functional, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like poor Jakey's still doing it. He can't touch his toes. He might not be able to touch his damn knees. We always say that to him. I'm like, why don't you stretch at night? I get fucking hurt. If I stretch, I get hurt. I need to be tight.
Yeah, he looked real good in the game against us. I thought he looked real good. He had great legs, and I'm happy for him. He's looked really good.
Yeah, that actually perfect lead in. To me, he's one of the funniest guys I've ever met in my life.
He's a character.
A lot of it is because he'll just say whatever the heck he wants.
Says what's on his mind.
But like between him and Michael Raffle and even Hazy, like who's the funniest guy you think so far you've run into in Philly, as far as a teammate?
I think just Jake, Raph and Lots together.
Yes, together. Well, they sat beside each other.
Oh, right.
Oh my God, it was comedy show. The things these guys would say were so funny. The inside jokes went on forever.
Yeah,
like they would say something it wouldn't make sense, and all three of them would be giggling, like stuff like that. So,
oh man,
yeah, those guys. Wow.
Rafi, speaking of Datsuk, I don't know if I ever told you this. It's better to hear Rafi tell it, but maybe we will when we have him on.
I think I do.
Do you know what I mean?
I think so. Yeah.
He ended up hitting Datsuk in a game.
Yeah.
And it was accidental, but it like took his knee, like whatever. And when we got back in the locker room, someone's like, "Dude, what did he say?" He's like, I was like, "Oh, sorry, man," or something like that. And he goes, "It's okay, Copter." Like he knows his nickname's Copter. And as soon as he said that, the whole room just couldn't even hear what the rest of the sentence was. He said, "It's okay, Copter." I know it was an something. He called him. Yeah, he said that's who called him Copter.
That is so cool.
Oh, we were laughing our ass off. Oh man, he is one funny man.
Copter.
Oh my God.
Oh,
hey, my dad bothers him and Lots all the time. Sudsy texts them. They have a 3-way text going. And it's like, it's kind of funny because Lots will send a fucked up picture of Raph, and he'll send one of Lots with sick hairline. Give it to poor Lots on his hair, like after a game or something. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, Lots and Raph would fight like a married couple.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah, but those three, they are really funny guys, man.
I was gonna just kind of shifting gears and going back to a little more hockey stuff. The difference in philosophy between AV and Yo. I know they work together, but everyone's got their little shtick. Any big difference there?
No, I feel like the game we play is very similar. Honestly, I think we've switched up a few things in our D zone. I think with AV, his system was more the center was kind of supporting all over. Where I feel like now we're a little bit, we still have the center support for sure, but I feel like it's more like man on man.
Okay.
I feel like even just this year, a little bit last year, like some guys were just getting confused. Like there was too many switches going on, so I feel like we've really reduced with how much we're switching in the D zone and really just trying to focus on stick with your guy, don't get beat to the net and things like that. Obviously, with so many young guys playing right now, there's obviously needs to be some time to learn and. We have obviously with the injuries, you don't have the the veterans out there showing what it should look like. Obviously, we have a few, but I think just trying to clean up the D zone. Obviously, I think every team has great offense and can make plays, but you got to be able to defend.
100%.
You definitely do.
The new NHL,
Right. But then on the offensive side of things, is there anything like, again, it's like everyone's trying to score goals, obviously. Is there anything like that jumps out at you that's somewhat different? Because I remember like when we had John Stevens and Peter Laviolette comes in, there was an obvious change around the offensive side of the game where like all we practiced was generating offensive scoring chances, top of the circles in. It was like, really teaching offense. Is there anything like on that side of things? Or is it pretty generic, I guess?
Yeah, I don't think it's been anything like a crazy change. I really feel like the one thing I would say is on our forecheck, I feel like our F2 is trying to be a lot more involved.
Okay.
I feel like before, like our F2 would go in, they would move it, and then we just have our F3, and it'd be a 3-on-3. Where I feel like now our F2 is really trying to jump in and make a turnover, stuff like that. And then just you always want guys to support the puck, I guess, but like what does supporting the puck mean? I think you really need three guys all together, and if one guy's off, then it screws up everybody else. So I really feel like we're just trying to stay tight, stay structured, and when you do that, you turn over the puck, and then once you get it, you can make all the plays you want.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, Riggs, you were pretty dangerous from circles in.
Well, of course, still am.
I know. Men's league, he's unreal.
Like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man. You got anything?
No, we're good, man.
Dude, we can't thank you enough for your time, Beezer. Get back, get healthy. I know you're close. And also a happy early birthday. This young man is turning 22.
Oh.
Could be my kid. Jesus, you're younger than my oldest daughter. I mean, my youngest daughter, for God's sakes. Jeez, Beez. That's why they got rid of me.
Dangerous,
You gotta get rid of the old guy.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, but seriously, thank you so much, man, and good luck. I know it's been a crazy year, but it's gonna get better.
Yeah,
we know it
100%.
is. Bright future, and good luck. We'll see you around, but we do thank you seriously for your time.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, taking the time. Obviously, this year it's been not great, but to be able to sit down and do this is awesome. So yeah, thanks again for having me.
That episode was brought to you by our friends at Fans of Philly, fansofphilly.com. Big trip 5 weeks away, Nash.
Coming up, boys. Nashville, get ready. Riggs is going to be feeling it.
Oh, I was feeling it in Arizona. You better bring me. You better bring your A game. I outcompeted you, Nash.
You didn't outcompete me.
I did. I outlasted you. You were fatigued. You wanted to go to bed.
Oh my! Everyone knows this is lies right now. Everyone knows.
I don't know.
That's not true. But Nashville,
Smashville,
500
Flyer fans.
500. That's gonna be sick. I can't wait. Yeah. Joe does an unbelievable job.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Check it out. Yeah, you guys need to join a trip. If you're here,
hey, the weather will be nice too, right?
Yeah, it should be really nice.
Mid March.
But they do all this. They do all the sports, and they do such a great job, man. I saw they just put up next year's schedule for the Eagles.
Oh, so beautiful.
We got to slide in one of those.
Let's do it. Looking forward to it. Check them out, fansofphilly.com, and a huge thank you to our good friend Joel Farabee.
Bees nuts.
Bees
That's what
nuts.
I call him. Seems like young bees are in the cut, stuck more than bees nuts, but. I still call him Bees Nuts, but he's going to be a hell of a player in this league, and he's kind of proven that already. You know,
yeah, he can score.
Sucks with all the injuries. He's one of them, but you know, he'll come back. He'll play some this year, obviously, and then see what happens next year. But hell of a player.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Great kid too.
Yeah, obviously. I really appreciated his attitude towards it. He's humble, he's mature for 21 years old, and the way he plays the game, high confidence. I mean, I really feel like this guy could be a 40-goal scorer.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, the way he scores, and he scores different ways, not just
he does
shooting off the rush or just finding trash on that. I think he kind of does it all. So
it's like you said, he gets into those hard areas too. He plays there. Probably how he got hurt too.
Right.
He took that hit, but
he
doesn't shy away from it. That's for sure. It was pretty cool. I'd never heard him talk about the fighting part of the game.
Yeah, I know, right? I was.
I
surprised.
think all players respect it, but the fact that he really watches it and
calls it the art of fighting.
It is an art.
Well, for sure it is. Yeah, but to be described that way from a 21-year-old hockey player is
cool.
Pretty impressive. But. Looking forward to see this guy grow. I think his potential is way up there. He hasn't even played close to a 82-game season yet, right. So staying healthy, getting more confidence. Obviously next year will be a huge season for him, and wish him the best.
Yeah, great guy, man. Great guy, and we appreciate him coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Episode 62 in the books, Nast.
Let's do it, man. It's over.
Yep.
It's over, baller.
Over.
It's over.
Check us out next week, episode 63. Until then, stay safe, knuckleheads.
See you, knuckleheads.